Good evening, I'm Matt Woodman. This is CTV News at 5. Tonight, the start of the spring session, the province's priorities as politicians return to the legislature. Edmonton's wish list, what the city is hoping to receive in this week's provincial budget. And trouble in paradise, how much protection travel insurance provides when your vacation goes south.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Matt Woodman.
The Alberta legislature is back in session. Parties are preparing for the release of the provincial budget Thursday. Earlier today, Government House Leader Joseph Scal provided a preview of the province's priorities over the coming weeks. He was also on the offensive against the official opposition. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
Alberta is the best place to live, to play, to work, to visit, to raise a family. The NDP hates that fact.
Government House Leader Joseph Scal spoke to media before the spring sitting of the Alberta legislature opened. He says the UCP government plans to table around 17 bills. Among them are changes to medical assist in dying regulations, tourism, establishing a major projects approval office, advancing interprovincial trade, and giving the province more control over immigration. Last week, Danielle Smith said several questions regarding immigration will be posed to Albertans as part of a referendum this fall.
Is there a need for both?
We believe there is. I think that they would work hand in hand, but this legislation is important now, particularly as we begin to regulate recruiters and immigration consultants.
Scal says his bill would license international recruiters, increase oversight in the hiring of foreign workers, and punish so-called bad actors in the immigration system. Scal says the government can't wait until the fall to act, citing concerns over people immigrating to Canada under false pretenses.
And we want to make sure that if someone's coming to Alberta to work either as a permanent or non-permanent resident, that they're going to be treated well, that they're going to be treated fairly.
We expect it will create yet more anti-immigrant sentiment, which seems to be something the Premier either wants or doesn't care about, and doesn't care about the impacts that it has on real people.
Opposition leader Naheed Nenshi says his caucus's goals include fixing the healthcare system and making life more affordable. He says based on the titles of some bills he's seen, he doesn't believe the UCP government is addressing Albertans' top concerns. He's also worried about the upcoming budget.
Probably going to end up with a bigger deficit than Notley ever had in the middle of a global recession.
Budgets are always tough, especially when you have depressed oil prices, but it doesn't mean that we can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Scal says his government does not plan on changing the Recall Act or using the notwithstanding clause this sitting. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
One of the UCP government's first pieces of legislation this session is a bill advancing Alberta's new provincial police force. CTV's Nicole Weisberg has the details.
This isn't about creating more government, it's about creating more safety.
Public Safety Minister Mike Ellis calls Bill 15 the next step in the evolution of the Alberta Sheriff's Police Service, or ASPS. The Crown Corporation was created last year, and a former Calgary police officer was named its leader.
This bill creates a practical path for the eligible sheriffs to pursue police officer roles within the ASPS, and this is a major milestone in building the new service.
Ellis says sheriffs looking to become police officers won't have to start from scratch, since many are already highly skilled. He estimates about 6 additional weeks of training is needed to ensure they're qualified under the Police Act.
This is the fastest path to get at least 600 or so police officers on the streets of Alberta trying to assist all police of jurisdiction in calls to service right now.
The minister says these officers will be paid accordingly, acknowledging that will come at an extra cost.
That is something that will be coming out in the upcoming budget.
A budget, the Premier has warned, will be tough. As the province grapples with low oil prices, Danielle Smith says significant deficits are in store.
We're still mystified as to why the government is even carrying on down this road. Albertans have actually said there's other priorities to deal with.
The RCMP union president points to the province's own Alberta Next panel poll that found a majority of respondents oppose establishing a provincial police force to take over duties from RCMP. The minister won't say whether that is the plan, only that the province wants to provide more options for municipalities.
And I've said this before, I don't care what the uniform is, I just want somebody to go to the call.
Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton's mayor says while he wants significantly more infrastructure funding from the province in this year's budget, he knows he needs to be realistic.
So for us, it's at least maintaining what we have and then some very strategic investments in a few key areas that will allow us to continue to address the gaps. Because again, you're going to hear this a lot throughout 2026 as we build the next 4-year budget, but we have a significant infrastructure deficit.
The renewal deficit is roughly $1.5 billion. He says the city won't be able to do that all within the next 4-year budget. He's hoping the province can provide what he calls strategic and targeted investment to help close the gap. And CTV News will have full coverage and analysis of the provincial budget on Thursday. The budget will be dropped at 3:15, and we will bring you comprehensive coverage of where the money is going and what it means for you on our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca, and on CTV News at 5 and 6. The provincial government is promising major health care funding in this budget, but doctors say they're still waiting for a promised triage position to materialize. One of the province's health ministers said Alberta would add a new set of emergency room doctors to triage patients. It came after a man from Edmonton died after waiting to see a doctor for 8 hours about chest pains. The premier says the province is still working on those triage positions. She says if doctors don't want to fill the roles, the province might use nurse practitioners or physician assistants. An Alberta Medical Association rep says they have not been contacted.
The Premier and Minister Jones both were given those cases of some examples of deaths and near misses. They haven't even acknowledged receipt of them, but they have not arranged a meeting with the section of emergency medicine leaders or with the AMA leaders to discuss the triage role, the waiting room emerge doc role.
The Alberta Medical Association says there have been no meetings to date and nothing is currently scheduled regarding triage doctors. Nursing staff have ratified a new deal with Covenant Health. The Alberta Union of Provincial Employees says nearly 90% of those who voted are in favor of the deal. The deal includes a 12% raise over 4 years, a 10% adjustment for licensed practical nurses, and 4% for healthcare aides. It's retroactive to April of 2024. Canadian Airlines have resumed flights to Puerto Vallarta after cancellations due to cartel violence. While planes are taking off, some travelers might be considering other options or debating canceling upcoming trips. CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti joins us now with more on how travel insurance may impact your travel options. So, Miriam, what should travelers know?
Well, Matt, I spoke with the Alberta Motor Association about this situation, and it says the key word for travel insurance is unexpected. When buying travel insurance, it recommends cancellation interruption, which cover things like political and natural disasters. Cancellation interruption will cover you before you leave, during your trip, and the return to home as well. However, your insurance may be void if the country you're visiting falls under a level 3 or 4 risk level. Tiers of safety are determined by the Canadian government. Right now, parts of Mexico fall under level 3, which means you should avoid non-essential travel. Tourist areas like Puerto Vallarta, Cancun, and Cabo are yellow, meaning travelers should exercise a high degree of caution. What you're covered for depends on your policy and when you book it.
So from a cancellation perspective, it's always based on the day that you buy the policy. So as long as there's no advisory of non-essential travel, so the level 3s or the level 4, when you buy your policy, then you'll still have the coverage should it change to that level 3 or the level 4.
If your destination becomes a level 3 or 4, you still have coverage because you're already there. AMA says if the status changes before you book, you wouldn't have coverage, especially under medical coverage. And anyone with upcoming flights with WestJet to Puerto Vallarta can receive a free cancellation waiver until Friday. Air Canada and Porter are offering similar changes. Matt?
All right, Miriam Valdez-Carletti live in studio tonight. Thank you. Men's curling gold medalist Brad Jacobs had some words for Team Sweden, who failed to reach the Olympic podium.
They got what they deserved and we got what we deserved. You know, we just went about our business the rest of the week, tried to continue to make shots and curl like we always have. And we were able to come out as champions. I think the curling gods were actually on our side from that moment on.
Early in Olympic play, Sweden accused St. Albert's Mark Kennedy of committing an infraction by double-touching curling stones. Kennedy's profanity-laced defense caught the attention of the world. World Curling then issued a rule clarification saying players are not allowed to touch the stones after releasing the handle. Canada defeated Great Britain 9-6 in the gold medal final. Nearly 9 million Canadians woke up early Sunday morning to catch the Canada-U.S. Olympics gold medal game for hockey. It appears Edmonton fans were holding their breath and their bladders. EPCOR has released its Sunday water consumption data. The red line is water use during the game. The green line is the average daily water use. You can see the drastic spikes at the end of each period as fans held out from using the bathroom during gameplay. It also appears many people didn't stick around for the medal ceremony. Yeah, mark me down under that category, Josh. As soon as the U.S. scored that game-winning goal,
you're out.
Yeah, TV off. Lucky I didn't throw the remote through the screen.
My wife crawled back into bed. She was like, "That's it. I'm done. I'm done."
Time to catch some sleep. No need to rage over the forecast today, though, Josh. It's really warming up out there.
No, temperatures the warmest they've been in a little over a week. We got to -2 for a daytime high today. Still -2 in downtown Edmonton and north and west of the city. The airport south of the city, a little bit cooler there, a little breezier as well. Wind up around 15 kilometers per hour and -4, but no real significant wind chill. This is the first time in about 8 days the temperatures are back above or slightly around right around average. -2 your high today, -14 for the morning low. That's right around average as well. It was a fairly gray day. Occasionally you had a few sunny breaks. This is what it's looking like right now, though, as you take a look through the lens of the CTV drones, brought to you by Century Casinos. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Still mostly cloudy skies. And on the radar map, we've been picking up over parts of the city, especially just north of Edmonton, a little bit of light snow. You're not seeing that on the shot from the drone, but here's what's left of this right now. We didn't get anything here on the west end at CTV Studios. Looks like parts of the city, though, may have seen a few snowflakes, and just north of Edmonton, you may have picked up a little bit of a dusting there. You've also got some snow back in through the Peace Country. Most of the snow over the next couple of days will ride through northern Alberta and stay well to the north of the Edmonton region. That said, there might be a couple flurries tomorrow morning. No real significant snow, though. Watch this warm-up. -2 for a daytime high today. We'll drop to around -5 this evening, get back to -2 tomorrow morning, and 5 degrees for a daytime high tomorrow afternoon. Let you know how long that warmer air will stick around in just a few minutes.
All right, Josh, thank you. Coming up next on CTV News, 4 years since the start of the war with Russia, local Ukrainians say they will not give up.
I think Ukraine's pride and determination and resilience speaks volumes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
You're watching CTV News at 5.
2 communities west of Edmonton are grieving after 2 teenage girls were killed in a crash on Highway 16. Police say it happened shortly after 7 last night, just east of the Jasper transfer station. The crash involved a pickup truck and a semi. The 18-year-old driver and 17-year-old passenger in the pickup died there. Police believe road conditions were a factor. The teens, both girls, were students at Harry Collins High School in Hinton, where classes were canceled today. In a statement, the school division superintendent says, quote, "Our entire district community is mourning today, and there are no words that can fully capture the grief of such a loss," end quote. The mayor of Jasper says they were part of the Jasper U18 Bearcats hockey team before expressing condolences to everyone affected by the loss.
And of course, in smaller communities where more people know each other, more people are involved together, it has that impact because everyone has probably crossed paths with this person, met these people. In this case, these 2 girls. So they've met them, crossed paths with them, or went to school with them. So of course, that proximity always adds to the impact as well.
The school division says classes will be canceled again tomorrow to give students and staff some time and space to grieve. We're also told counseling and mental health supports will be available for as long as needed. Today marks 4 years since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainians around the world, including here in Alberta, are standing in solidarity to mark the grim anniversary. CTV's Evan Kenny joins us now from outside of the Alberta legislature, where a rally will be held this evening. So, Evan, what are you hearing from Ukrainians today?
Matt, the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress is urging people to keep Ukraine in mind. It says it's easy for someone to forget about a war that's happening on the other side of the world, but people cannot dismiss Russia's authoritarian government and its impact. It has been 1,460 days since Russia's all-out invasion of Ukraine. The Ukrainian-Canadian Congress Alberta branch is hosting tonight's rally at 7 in honor of those who have died. The show of solidarity is also a call for continued international support. The Congress says Ukrainians are resilient and will keep fighting.
I think Ukraine's pride and determination and resilience speaks volumes. You know, it's not just, yeah, we'll wait for the army to come in and step in. It's every, individual Ukrainian who has, when the war, started, stepped up to help. The province says in the last 4 years, Alberta has become home for nearly 65,000 Ukrainian evacuees across 213 communities. And since 2022, the federal government has given more than $25.5 billion in aid to Ukraine. Roughly $2 billion in military assistance is going in the next year, with $300 million of that being announced today. Matt?
All right, Evan Kenny live at the Alberta legislature tonight. Thank you. Still to come here tonight on CTV News, how much one of Wayne Gretzky's last game-worn NHL jerseys is about to fetch at auction.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
An auction for a piece of hockey memorabilia valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars wraps up tonight. One of the jerseys Wayne Gretzky wore during his final NHL game is up for grabs. Gretzky played his last game as a member of the New York Rangers against the Pittsburgh Penguins on April 18th, 1999. He wore a different jersey each period that game. The jersey's current owner says this one was worn during the pregame ceremony and the first period. The current highest bid is more than $423,000 Canadian. Josh, if I had a cool $500,000 laying around, I might have bought that jersey just so you or I weren't matching exactly tonight. I guess we got slightly different ties on. It's
kind of a
suits are pretty
kind
similar.
Of a gray day outside today. It's appropriate.
We're feeling it on this Tuesday.
The melting started, though, with temperatures not back above zero, but warm enough that she was pretty sloppy out there on a lot of the roads. -2 right now. That's our daytime high. River Valley Skycam's brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed rider, it's free. It's -4 to the south in Red Deer, 2 degrees in Jasper, and still on the cool side here in east central and northeastern Alberta in the -10, -12 range through this afternoon. There's that little bit of snow that we were pointing out earlier around the Edmonton region. Not all of the city saw snow, but it looks like there were a couple neighborhoods, and then especially just north of the city. This is where we're going to start to pick up most of the snow overnight tonight and through the day tomorrow is across north and northwestern sections. Meanwhile, here in the city, this is all now off to the east. And so I think for the remainder of this evening, just cloudy skies. This actually, there's a couple waves of low pressure systems that'll slide across and could actually produce maybe as much as 10 to 20 centimeters in parts of northern Alberta, in particular from around high level, maybe as far south as Peace River, and then east towards Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray, you could pick up easily 10 to 20 centimeters. There's your cold front going through behind this last system Thursday afternoon. And so there is some uncertainty with how much snow we might see here in the city, but I think we get some as opposed to none as that cold front goes through. So it could be as little as 1 or 2 centimeters, maybe as much as 5 or 6 centimeters of snow. We'll have a better idea on that in the next couple of days. We're pretty certain about the drop in temperature behind that cold front. So uncertainty with how much snow, but watch this. Wednesday, Thursday on the warm side, south of those lows tracking across the north, but there's your push of Arctic air for Friday and Saturday. Should be pretty short-lived, though. Nice and warm here Wednesday, Thursday. Then the cold front goes through, temperatures drop. Warms up again Sunday, Monday. Guess what goes through Monday night? Another cold front. So you actually get a good chance of some heavier snow there Monday night, and temperatures slide once again into the early part of next week. I think the long-range forecast towards the middle to the end of next week should have temperatures stabilizing around or slightly above zero for daytime highs. But a little bit of undulation to temperatures here over the next 5 to 7 days. Minus 16 in Fort McMurray tomorrow morning, minus 2 in Grande Prairie, minus 3 in Edmonton. Temperatures will slip a little bit through this evening and then start to climb overnight tonight from Edmonton off to the west. By tomorrow afternoon, you're back to minus 4 in Fort McMurray, 3 for Grande Prairie, about 5 or 6 into Edson, Whitecourt, and Cold Lake, Vegreville, Lloydminster, all a degree or 3 above zero. You're around 3 or 4 degrees above zero in Red Deer as well. There's your climb overnight. Chance of a few flurries tomorrow morning, minus 2. And then 5 degrees tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies and light wind. 4 on Thursday with that chance of some afternoon snow or flurries. Amounts yet to be determined. Big drop in temperature for Friday, Saturday, but as we said, by Sunday, Monday, temperatures warm back up.
Josh, thank you. While wildfire season in Alberta doesn't start until March, more than 24 fires have started already this year. That includes one currently burning in the Rocky Mountain House Forest area. That wildfire broke out at the start of the month. It's one of the 2 active wildfires out of 26 that flared up this year. Despite heavy snow in some parts of the province, above average temperatures this month melted much of it away and created some dry conditions. Alberta Wildfire says how and when the snow melts is most important. It says protecting Alberta's forests and infrastructure is everyone's responsibility.
Wildfire season is now no longer just a March 1st to October 31st thing. I mean, we need to be vigilant and cautious all the time when we're on the landscape. Doesn't matter whether you're, burning slash piles in a harvest area, if you're a forest company, or whether you're out on your OHV or hunting and having a warming fire.
Alberta's government is also spending $400 million to purchase 5 new water bombers, with the first one due in 2031. When we return, a display of death, a new exhibition at the Ram exploring the great mystery of dying.
Approaches what can be seen as a scary or a taboo topic really quite accessibly and eloquently.
Coming up Wednesday on Your Morning, the psychology of money, why financial stress can hit you harder. Plus, Canada geese are heading back our way, when we'll see them, and how to avoid getting honked.
The Royal Alberta Museum's new feature exhibition is exploring one of life's greatest mysteries, death. The exhibition includes the natural history of death and its impacts on ecological systems. Artifacts from across the world also show how human societies celebrate, mourn, and experience death.
Approaches what can be seen as a scary or a taboo topic really quite accessibly and eloquently, and allows people to think critically and thoughtfully about this natural part of life.
So my favorite part of the show is actually the end, which asks people to reflect on what they want to do while they're alive and what they want to happen after they die.
The exhibition opens Thursday and runs until September 7th. That's our show. Thanks for watching. I'm Matt Woodman. CTV News continues right now.